Today I'm going to show you around a new chess website called mated.gg. Think of this site as being like a virtual chess coach. There are a number of different features on the site, all designed to make you into a better chess player. I'm going to focus most of today's video on their game review tool, but there are several other tools which I'll touch on as well. Now, before going any further, I should disclose that this is a sponsored video. The founder of the site got in touch with me and asked me to do this, but he also wanted me to be honest in my review. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Well, one of the great things about the site is just how easy it is to get started with. You don't need to download anything. It's completely free to use. And actually, you don't even need an account to get started with it. It is, however, useful to have an account. And if you want to sign up to mated.gg, there is a link in the description below which you can use to sign up with. But it's actually not necessary, and let's just imagine that we're brand new to the site and we want to get started as quickly as possible. The way you want to do this is to use this box right here. This is where you can paste in a link from chess.com or from Lichess or a PGN, an FEN code, or even a screenshot. I've got a game from chess.com which I want to review. So I just go to chess.com, copy the URL, and then paste it into this box. And then click review, and it'll take a few moments to run the review process, but once it's done, it's going to ask you whether you want to review the game from White's point of view, from Black's point of view, or from both points of view. I always find myself that I'm only interested in my own moves, less interested in what my opponent may have done right or wrong. So I'm just going to click on my own name here, and we're going to see several things which you may be familiar with if you've used game review or game analysis on other online sites. So there's an accuracy score to show how well you played compared to the engine's top moves, an estimated rating based on the game, also a graphical representation of how the game went with movement upward, so more of the white bar indicating advantage to white, and the graph moving downwards in Black's direction, showing that the advantage swung to Black. So in this game, for example, I gained a good advantage out of the opening, but I made some mistakes and then Black went on to win. This is why I wanted to review the game. Also, of course, we've got a board which you can cycle through with these arrows, and there's a engine on the left showing who's got the advantage at any point of the game. But let's just explore this part here, the report. So you can jump forward to any part of the game which were critical moments. So these orange dots, these indicate mistakes. There could also be red dots if there were blunders, or blue dots if there were great moves. Looks like in this game I didn't make any great moves, so there are no blue dots. But I can just jump through to any point of the game by clicking on the dot here. And this shows me my mistakes. I can click on show best move, and there's also an explanation here of why it was a mistake. Okay, so it's saying that in this position, the problem with castling queenside was knight to d4. This creates a threat on the queen on e2. I'll just minimize this so you can see this. So here, knight to d4 hits the queen, gaining a tempo, and improves the black knight. So it's quite understandable why that was a problem. Let's just jump through to another mistake. Yeah, bishop here was a problem because, well, in this game, Black got some queenside play going, and this bishop ended up being trapped eventually. If we just explore this part a little bit more, if we scroll down, one of my favorite parts of the game review tool is the fix your mistakes feature. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to every mistake within the game and ask me to have a go at finding a better move. This is a really useful training feature because it gives you a chance to revisit the bad moves that you made within the game and try and find a better solution on your own. So here, for example, we just saw that castling queenside was a mistake. So what could the better move be? Now, I've actually reviewed this game before, and one theme was that I needed to accelerate my own kingside attack. Okay, so I tried that move though, and it said that that was incorrect. I could keep trying, or I could just click on show solution. So let's just do this. Okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. It's saying that queen to f2 was the better move. And the reason that this makes sense is that I'm actually a pawn up in this position. So with extra material, I should be looking to trade queens. Queen to f2 would have gone some way to doing that, offering a queen trade. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Skip forward. Yeah, just like I showed before, bishop to b3 was a mistake, and I think in this case perhaps h4 is the correct answer. And yes, indeed it is. So it's saying that I found the best move, well done, and we can just keep doing this, and through this process you can see you can learn from your mistakes without the engine just giving you the answer straight away. But if you do get stuck, it'll explain what you did wrong and why it was wrong and why the other move was better, using human language, I think, importantly. Okay, so that's the Fix Your Mistakes feature, a really useful training tool, but I also want to take you into the coach review. To access that, go to this tab in the top right, click Coach, and then you can navigate to any position within the game and click Explain this position, and you're going to hear an audio explanation of what's going on. Let's give it a try.
Move 18, white to move. At the start of this turn, white is roughly equal despite the extra material. The first thing to see, white's bishop on c4 is attacked by the pawn on b5 and not defended enough. If nothing changes, pawn takes on c4 just wins the bishop.
So I think that is spot on. That's exactly what's relevant in the position. White is only around about equal despite having extra material. That's actually quite insightful and useful to recognize. And of course, the bishop is under attack. So you're getting a good context as to what is relevant about the position right now.
Worth noticing, the isolated pawn on h7 is a lasting target. White can pile up on it. Nobody is attacking it yet, and it is already defended twice. Here's what white played. Bishop to b3, a mistake. Better was pawn to h4.
Okay, so one thing which I think can be improved in this coach review is something like that first comment there, talking about the isolated pawn on h7. In this case, the isolated pawn on h7 isn't really relevant to the position at all. It's actually a very critical position, and any way of targeting that pawn is going to be so far in the future that it's not really even worth mentioning. So I think this is something that will be improved in the site over time. But still, it's giving you the move which was played and the fact that it was a mistake, and it's showing you the better move. And now what we're about to hear is why the better move is better.
Here's why it's a mistake. Pawn to a5, then pawn to h4, then pawn to a4, then bishop to c4, then pawn takes on c4, then pawn to h5. The best line from here is pawn to h4, then pawn takes on c4, then pawn to h5, then pawn takes on d3, then pawn takes on g6, then pawn takes on g6.
So you can see why h4 was better. Like, rather than responding to the threat on the bishop in the initial position, it's saying that you've got to attempt to trap black's own bishop. That's the critical line in what I didn't play in the game, and ultimately why I ended up losing.
Where this leaves the game after white's move, black is clearly better. This is a calculation moment, not a planning one. Name 2 or 3 candidate moves and test each against the most forcing reply before black commits to anything.
So that's actually true as well. This is a critical position, therefore calculation is everything. That's exactly what a chess coach would talk about in a position like this. So the coach view, I think it can be improved, but it's a great start. I mean, particularly the fact that you get an audio explanation of things. And let's remind ourselves, this is all free to use. The equivalent game review on chess.com is a premium feature, and you've got this on mated.gg completely free of charge. Okay, so that's the game review feature of mated.gg. For the rest of this video, I want to walk through some of the other tools on the site to help you improve your chess. Now, just a reminder that if you want to create an account on mated.gg, there is a link in the description below to help you do that. I think it is a good idea because what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to save all your analysis all in one place. Like for me, for example, I've done several game reviews on their site now, and if I click on my account, I can see that it's all saved here. And this can be across multiple game formats. So you can add games from chess.com, Lichess, perhaps upload PGNs from games that you've played over the board. So by creating an account, you'll have all that analysis saved so that you can access it later. Okay, let's take a look at a new feature of mated.gg, which was just recently added, the report card. What this is going to do is, by adding your online username, it's going to draw out insights into the way that you're playing, which can be useful in deciding what type of training to focus on. So let me just add my own username here, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm adding my own chess.com account here, and I can choose which time control I want to get the analysis to focus on. Blitz, rapid, bullet, daily, or if I want to grade everything together, there's the option of doing that as well. I'm going to focus on rapid since these are the games which I take most seriously, and then click grade these. And what's going to happen is it's going to pull in your last 100 games and surface different insights about your play, which maybe you didn't realize. Let me just start from the top. So it's saying different areas of the game which you're relatively strong and weak at. It's saying that for me, I'm very strong in openings, less strong in defense, and other aspects of the game you can see there as well. I have to say this accords with my own personal belief in what type of player I am. So what it's doing in the background, I believe in that analysis. I believe that what it's doing, analyzing all those games as a whole, is actually pulling out real insights, which is great. There's a lot on this report card, and I'd encourage you to explore it on your own. But one of the other parts that I really like, as we scroll further down, is, well, your results with both white and with black. You can see that my results with white are better than with black. Now that might be to be expected, given that white is the first move and there's a natural edge there. Maybe there's a difference in your skill in the opening with different colors. Looks like for me there isn't, but for you perhaps there is, and that's worth knowing about. And then you've got the different game shapes of some of the most recent games. Like if one draws your eye, like perhaps there's one which you were winning and then there was a sudden drop off, then you might want to just click on that, and then that'll pull up the game so that you can analyze it using the game review feature that we were just looking at. Different numbers, accuracy by different phases of the game, best win, worst loss. Like I say, worth exploring on your own, and some really useful insights here to check out. Also worth taking a look at is the puzzles part of the site. Now there's many sites which do puzzles, but mated.gg is another place that you can do them. You can choose them by different motifs. You can change the difficulty if you like. And yeah, plenty of training that you can do right here on mated.gg. Also the chance to go through different lessons on just about any aspect of the game, really. There's different traps in the opening, tactical weapons, daily tips. You can also play against the coach and set the difficulty. So let's try setting it at 2000. Start moving and the coach will play back at you. And there's commentary right here, which you can use to review as you're playing. If you need a hint, you can also do that. Just click stuck, show you what to play, and it's making a suggestion. Now, obviously, this is the opening, and in a more developed position, that will be more useful than right here. But still, I think it's amazing what's been put together here. And once again, all free of charge. There's no paywall. It's not like the features are limited or freemium somehow, that you only get access for part of the site if you don't pay. It really is quite amazing what's been developed here. Now that you've seen this walkthrough of mated.gg, it's time to try it for yourself. Click the link in the description below to sign up and get started with reviewing your games and improving your results in chess for free with mated.gg.